Hi everyone, welcome back to The Wonder of Anime. I am so excited to be starting a new series today, and that is what I'm reading this weekend. I thought it would be fun to share a to-do list of what I would be reading this weekend because one thing about me, I'm a list girly. I make a list for everything, and I live such a full and busy life. As many of you guys know, I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I work full time. I'm also training for my first half marathon, and I make content for my YouTube channel and my website. So I don't really have a lot of time, especially during the weeks. But on the weekends, I'm able to sit down and prioritize reading. And as a result, I usually have a huge reading list for the weekend. That would be fun to share that, what I'm currently reading, why I'm reading things simultaneously, and what like my thought processes are, and all that good stuff. So that is what we're going to be doing. And I'm not sure if I'm going to do this weekly or periodically because some weekends are busy. Some weekends I don't really have time to prioritize reading. But when I do, this is what I'm reading and this is how I do it. Starting off with the physical books that I'm reading. Clearly, as you guys can see, I love physical books. I have a bunch. But as a mother to a toddler, I don't have a lot of time where I can read my physical books because my child will take the books. If he sees the books, he's taking the books and he's trying to harm the books. And everyone knows if you are a manga collector or, you get these books, like the last thing you want is harm done onto these books. So physical reading is something that I really have to reserve, like when I'm by myself or like at night when I can stay up late and read. So I don't usually have physical books that I'm reading, but I will start off with those. Now, the first book on this list, I'll be honest, I finished the main story of this months ago, but I ended up like diving into another book really soon after that, and I never went back to finish all the side stories. And I plan on doing that this weekend because this book has been staring me down on my nightside table for months. And if you are on this channel and you watch my Danmei videos, then you know this book has been missing, and that is Guardian by Priest. This is volume 3, and I just have the side stories to finish, and it's actually not that much. Let's see, this much that I have to finish, and yeah, it's about time. It's about time I finish this so I can put it back up on my shelf, and also so that I can finish my Guardian video series, which was really fun, really entertaining, but I'm probably going to need like a refresher. So this is my priority for my physical books that I'm reading this weekend. The other physical book that I'm reading, I started last week, and that is Astrolab Rebirth by Fei Tian Yejing. As you guys know, I am on a Fei Tian Yejing like kick. I'm reading everything licensed that he has written. And the thing is, I started this last weekend, but because I'm also simultaneously reading other historical works, and this is a a futuristic sci-fi work, it's kind of hard for me to get back in the zone in the futuristic sci-fi from like immediately switching from like historical political drama. So I got about 33% of the way through last weekend, but I definitely want to continue. This might be like on the back burner if I finish some of the other books first, but it's still on the list for reading this weekend. Next, we are going to move into the ebooks. I know a lot of people don't like ebooks, and it's like, no, I prefer a physical book. After becoming a parent, I realized how much easier ebooks make my life, especially when I have a moment to be on my phone, or, instead of scrolling on social media, I can just open my book and read from there. And I've been really liking ebooks, and specifically with some Danmei series, a lot of them are really long, and I'm like, I don't have the shelf space. Like, I already don't have this shelf space, and I want to prioritize collecting manga versus Danmei, but I still want to read the Danmei and own it, and I think ebooks is a good solution for that. We're going to get into the ebooks that I'm reading. Of course, we have To Rule in a Turbulent World, Volume 3 by Fei Tian, and To Rule in a Turbulent World, I love this series so much, but it's kind of like my I don't want to, like my old reliable series. I have been reading these 3 volumes kind of very leisurely. Like if I have something else, I'll prioritize that something else, because this is like a slow moving story. It is not like a lot of drama chapter to chapter to chapter. It's a story being told throughout a span of a couple years. And as a result, it's really like, it's like a cozy read for me almost. And I am savoring that. So with this one, I'm about 60%, almost 70% of the way through with it. And I am also remembering that the 4th ebook is not available yet. I think it might be available September or October, hopefully, fingers crossed. So I'm not in a rush to finish, because I'm like, once it's done, like I'm gonna have to wait for the next volume. But it is a story that I'm enjoying, and depending on the part I'm at, depends like my priority of reading it. So that's like my old reliable. The other Danmei that I'm reading that's on my list for this weekend is Danghai Fuxing Records. Of course, another Fei Tian banger. This one I got a sample like a couple weeks ago when it hadn't been out yet, and I really liked it, and then I just bought it last week. But I kind of have been prioritizing To Rule in a Turbulent World, so I haven't dedicated too much time to this yet. I'm about 16% in. The beginning was very interesting, and this is also set in the same world, like 300 years prior to Legend of Exorcism. So I'm really interested in this. I love the like magical elements to it, but I've been like prioritizing To Rule in a Turbulent World. So we'll see how much of a dent I'm making it this weekend. But I'm also like a mood reader. Like sometimes I'm in the mood for To Rule in a Turbulent World. Sometimes I'm like, okay, I need to put you down a little bit and get into Astrolab or this and that. So we'll see where I end up with that. Next on my list are some manga, and these are arcs that I have gotten from the publisher or from NetGalley, and I love reviewing. I love reviewing manga. I love getting arcs, and I love when I have the opportunity to do a review before the book drops. I try to time my review to come out the date of release, and just get more eyes on a story if I really enjoy it. So these are some of those. The first one I'm starting off with is The Demon King is Way Too Overprotective, and this is by Miko Senri. This is published by Seven Seas Entertainment. Again, shout out to them for the arc. This looks good. Please. I don't even know too much about it, but it looks really, really good. And I'm curious to see like what this story is going to be. So this is definitely top of the list priorities. And the really good thing about reading manga and Danmei simultaneously is that manga, you can read it quicker. So you can read like 3 or 4 volumes back to back and then get into your regular books. The next on my list, I actually already read it a couple days ago, but I'm rereading it to take notes for my review, and that is Long Period by Nagisa Furuya. If you guys know me, and I have some on the shelf here, I love Nagisa. I love all her BL. She just has such a tender way of telling stories. And this one I'm excited for because a lot of her stories are like one shots, and I think the story is told via 2 volumes, and this is the first volume, and this will be available on Tuesday, August. Why can't I remember the date? I don't have my glasses, so I can't see. This Long Period and The Demon King is Way Too Overprotective. These both will be available. I opened the calendar and I didn't look at the date. These both will be available on August 12th, so I'm prioritizing them this weekend to be sure to have a review out. And this is also published by Seven Seas. Thank you for the arc. And the last manga on my reading list this weekend is A Little Step, and this is by Mimi Zeto, and this is published by Nakama Press. And I was able to receive this arc through Nakama Press and NetGalley, so thank you so much for letting me access this arc. This manga comes out in August, not on August 19th, but I wanted to add it to my list this weekend so I can read it, get a gist of it, and then I'll reread it for the review. That is my reading list this weekend. I have a lot on my plate, not promising that I will get to all of it. So maybe I won't even touch some of the ones that I mentioned, but that's my ambitious to-do list. A couple things of note, because I know some people get really sensitive when it comes to reading speeds, and like how much people, are you really, if you're reading all this much, you're reading this fast, are you really like retaining it? You don't even know what you're reading. Everyone has different reading levels. Everyone has different reading speeds. Everyone has different ways that they approach reading. I'm someone that I don't review everything that I read, but I've gotten into the habit of always jotting down my feelings. If I'm reading something, how it makes me feel, just so that I remember. Sometimes that does turn into a review, and I use that for my reviews. Sometimes it doesn't, and it just lives in my notes app or on my notebook, and I like keep those feelings there. So that's just a disclaimer, because my reading speeds and retention differs from people, and I'll need y'all in this comments like acting up. But yeah, that is my reading list for this weekend. I've been watching some of the summer anime week to week, but I'm really trying to finish the current Danmei on my reading list, because then I have like a break between the next volumes for the series, and then I'll be able to, like, once this Danmei has released me from this chokehold, I'll be able to get back into my anime watching. But it's just right now there's so many that I have access to that I want to read. So yeah, that's where I'm at with what I'm consuming, why. And next video we'll check in and see how I did with these. But thank you guys so much for watching this new video in this new series. If there's anything else you want to know about my process or things like that, leave it in the comments. I'll respond, or I'll make a video talking about it. So thank you guys, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace out.